The 54th International Film Festival of India officially commenced its mesmerizing cinematic journey here in Goa with a grand opening ceremony. Embracing diversity and creativity, this edition of the festival offers a spectacular and immersive lineup of films showcasing the richness of cultures, perspectives and narratives from across the globe. Dilip Vaze recaps the glitz and glamour of the opening ceremony.
केंद्रीय माहिती आणि प्रसारण मंत्री अनुराग सिंग ठाकूर हांणी उक्तावण सुवाळ्यात उलयतना सांगलें की भारताचो आंतरराष्ट्रीय चित्रपट महोत्सव संवसारांतलो एक अव्वल दर्जाचो आंतरराष्ट्रीय चित्रपट महोत्सव थारतलो.
Every year we are adding one or the other chapter to the IFFI. Please keep guiding and I'll make sure that whatever suggestions you send will try and incorporate that. Prime Minister Modi wants India to be a developed nation by 2047, and we also have a vision for IFFI Goa by 2047.
फुडल्या वर्सा जावपी आंतरराष्ट्रीय चित्रपट महोत्सव व्हडा दबाज्यान जातलो कारण गोंयांत फिल्म सिटीचो वावर सुरू जाल्लो आसा आणि गोंय हे फिल्म डेस्टिनेशन थारतलें अशें मुखेलमंत्री डॉ. प्रमोद सावंत हांणी उक्तावण सुवाळ्यात उलयतना सांगलें.
Goa is a proud host of IFFI and we are committed to providing all the necessary support to make this festival success. We are also working to make the Goa a hub for the filmmaking, and we believe that IFFI will play a key role in promoting the Goa as a film-friendly destination.
Meanwhile, our filmy correspondent Runa met up with award-winning British filmmaker Stuart Gat, whose movie Catching Dust opened the 9-day film festival, while it was a red carpet moment for Shyam, who tells us about the Goan film Gutton being screened at IFFI's 54th edition.
So tell us about Catching Dust first.
So Catching Dust is my debut feature film, and it's set in West Texas. It stars Erin Moriarty from The Boys, Jai Courtney from Suicide Squad and Terminator, and it follows their story. They're two Texans. They're stuck in the middle of the desert, hiding out from the husband's criminal past.
Yeah.
And a couple from New York get stuck with them, and it's about how these two couples' relationships develop into someone's untimely death. But it's a thriller, and it's an exploration of human relationships and female liberation.
That came through. Congratulations. It was a beautiful film, even visually very, very appealing. Any particular inspirations for the film?
I think that I've learned as a filmmaker that sometimes there's ideas that you move towards and some ideas come to you, and this is definitely an idea that came to me. I kept getting images of a trailer in the middle of the desert, and you start to become curious about that idea, and you start filling in the blanks. You know, who might live there, why are they in the middle of the desert, and soon you feel compelled to write a script and then you tell the story. But I think that outside of the world, the visual part of it, there was those elements of, I think, relationships and struggle and female liberation are ones that I think all of my stories have probably explored those areas, and naturally it came through in this story as well.
So there's a scene in the film where Maya and Clyde actually spend time together for the first time, and they're sitting out in the desert, and she says, I think it's tending towards sunset, and she says, "You're right, it is beautiful." And that encapsulates probably all of the visuals that we see through the film. But you come from a land that is so lush. You come from England, which is green, maybe grey, but also green. And then you have all of these visuals that are so stark and brown. Why that contrast?
See, London is concrete blocks and council estates and stuff, so maybe that's why it is so brown. I mean, also it's a reflection of West Texas. That West Texas is arid and the desert, and I think really in many ways actually growing up in inner city London isn't so dissimilar from the world that the film is set in, which is the middle of the desert. I feel like we live in a world now where we feel very connected with people, especially over technology, social media, but we're probably more atomized and separated from people now in a way that we, maybe more than we've ever been in human history. We're not connected in the same way. So actually it felt like a relevant allegory actually to have this, you know, modern couple set against a world that feels alien but is actually very familiar.
Are you working on anything? What can we expect to see from you next?
So yeah, I've just my new film will hopefully be announced soon. I can't say much more.
Oh,
than
okay.
that, actually.
Okay. Well, this is your first time in India.
It is. I'm embarrassed to say, actually.
So, what's your plan for the rest of the trip? How long?
So from here, me and my mother, my Maya's here. We're going to go to Bangalore.
Lovely.
We're going to visit her birthplace and spend some time there. But it's taken a long time for me to come, and I don't know why. And now I'm here. I'm like, I don't understand why it's taken so long. But I'll be here very regularly from now.
इशानो नमस्कार. इशानो फिल्म आणि रेड कार्पेट हाचो एक अनोखो संदर्भ आणि संपर्क आसता. इशानो रेड कार्पेट हे प्रत्येक मनशाच्या जिणेंतली एक खाशेली सुवात. इशानो दर मनशाच्या जिणेंत रेड कार्पेट वॉक हो एक खाशेलो प्रसंग जशें आमी म्हणटा अणभव हो खाशेलो आसता. जंय सेलिब्रिटी, VIP, उद्देग, वेवसायीक आणि हेर प्रभावी सोयरे मुखेल कार्यावळी खातीर अशा सुवातीचेर प्रवेश करता आणि ह्या रेड कार्पेटाचें म्हत्व अदीक वाडटा. इशानो उच्च दर्जाचे फक्त आमंत्रणा खातीर जावपी हो सुवाळो, हो मेळावो, हो पुरस्कार सुवाळो सिनेमा, प्रिमियर वा गाला आसूं येता. इशानो किरण रेड्डी हांचे ऋषी आनी ताची इश्टीण आदिती ऋषीच्या बापायक भेट दिवपाक वता आनी तांची गाडी अचानक मोडटा. एक अनवळखी मनीस तांकां आपल्या घरांत रावपाची पेशकश करता. ऋषीचो त्या अनवळखी मनशा कडेन कितें संबंध, कितें संपर्क आसता हे विचित्र परिस्थितींतल्यान ते कशे भायर सरता अशा आशयाचे हे गाथम फिल्म प्रत्येकाक उमळशीक लागल्या. गाथम हे फिल्म आमकां केन्ना पळोवपाक मेळटलें. इश्टानो सुंदर अशा गाथम ह्या फिल्मांत कलाकार जावन आसा भार्गव पोलुदास, राकेश गालेभे आनी पुजिता कुरापार्थी. मुजरत तुम्ही ह्या इफ्फीन येयात आणि ह्या फिल्माचो आस्वाद घेयात.
While Shubhi caught up with award-winning director Somendra Padi and actor Zoya Akhtar, Alroy gives us a glimpse into what's happening in the international competition section.
So while many celebrities walk the red carpet today, we were very lucky to get a small video bite with the director of Made in Heaven. We're talking about none other than Zoya Akhtar. So let's take a look at that.
So how challenging is it for a lady director in an absolute men's world, if you'd love to tell all of us at Doordarshan?
It's exactly the same as you in all the men's journalists. You're the only girl in the frame. I mean, we do our jobs, and I think everyone respects that. Once you know and do your work well and hard, I think people respect that.
You do take up some nice challenging topics, so I think that's very bold. Do you have something in the pipeline?
No, Archie's. I'm just getting that out, releasing that, and then we have another film coming out before New Year's, which we've written and produced. So yeah.
So we're looking forward to it.
Thank
Would you like to tell all of the viewers at DD, give them a lovely message?
Hello everybody. We are at the 54th IFFI, and that's it. My film is dropping on December 7th. Please watch it. Before that, watch Foray. It's in cinemas on the 24th.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the 54th edition of the International Film Festival of India. The main highlight at the festival this year is the Golden Peacock, which is awarded to the best feature film every year. Last year's recipient of the award went to Costa Rican director Valentina Muriel for the Spanish film I Have Electric Dreams. This year, 15 films by established masters and powerful young voices are in contention for the Golden Peacock Award at IFFI 54. These films have been handpicked from across the globe and now stand a chance to win the biggest prize along with a cash prize of 40 lakh rupees. 3 films of Indian origin in this category have caught my attention. First, we have Kantara, directed by Rishabh Shetty, which is a Kannada film that explores the ideological conflict between humans and nature. Next up is Sana, directed by Sudhanshu Saria and revolves around the protagonist Sana, a 28-year-old financial advisor in Mumbai whose life is about to change. Finally, we have Mirbeen, a Kabri film directed by Mridul Gupta, focusing on the Kabri tribal beliefs which makes life meaningful in the life of our protagonist. These 3, along with other films from across the globe, will be viewed, dissected and scored by the prestigious jury panel, which is made up of eminent members of the international film fraternity. Led by acclaimed filmmaker, actor, narrator and producer Shekhar Kapoor, a recipient of several accolades including a Padma Shri, the National Film Award, a BAFTA, Filmfare Awards and nominations for the Golden Globe and Oscars. In 2010, he was a jury member at the Cannes International Film Festival and was also the jury chairman for IFFI in 2015. Alongside him, we have cinematographer Jose Luis Alcaine, who's won the renowned Goya Award 5 times for the best photography in the years 1989, 1992, 93, 2002 and 2007 as well. Our next jury panelist is film producer Jerome Pilar, who has served as a classical musician, artistic director and CFO of a classical record label. As executive director, he's developed what is now the world's leading film market. Our fourth jury member is Catherine Duzat, film producer of nearly 100 films across 15 countries. Noteworthy among the films she has produced is The Missing Picture, which won the Un Certain Regard Prize at Cannes in the year 2013. Our fifth and final panelist on the jury is Helen Leake, one of Australia's most respected and creative producers. Her films have been featured in 30 festivals including Venice, Toronto, London and Catalonia. I'm looking forward to who's going to win the Golden Peacock Award this year, which will be announced during the closing ceremony of the festival. Stay tuned to the DD Goa network to find out about this and lots more happening at IFFI in Goa.
So you're a perfect story of a software engineer into a director. Goa has got a lot of talent and upcoming talent in film line and filmmaking. I'm sure all of the people who would be watching you right now would love to have a word of advice or a motivational pep talk from you right now.
I think for filmmakers, they should travel India for 2 years and read around 100,000 books and make the movies and not assist anybody. They can just make a movie from the mobile phone. I think it's very democratic right now and you learn movie by making it.
Okay, and what are the challenges that you faced in your journey? I mean, it's not been easy, I'm sure. So what are the challenges that you have normally faced?
Most of the challenges have been artistic. My parents provided me very well, so I didn't have to think about the finance. My identity was more to discover myself as an artist.
Okay, one quick message to everybody looking at you and listening to you right now on DD.
On first movie, this is a wonderful movie. I think this is raw talent. Just like Jamtara, these are very raw talent and I think they deserve a chance.
Sure. Thank you and all the very best.
Oreena caught up with the jury of the feature and non-feature film categories and Dilip Vaze spoke to Anand Ekarshi, the director of Attam, which opened in the Indian Panorama section of the festival.
Now with us, he's the chairperson of the non-feature film jury at the 54th IFFI. Sir, you spoke about the 250 films you all had to choose from and cut it down to 20. How difficult was such a project to bring it down to a small...
It wasn't difficult. It wasn't difficult because, although the quantities, number of films have gone up, but quality has not kept pace with that. So it was not so difficult. It was like easy.
Easy to select the 20
Yeah, it wasn't tough. It wasn't tough.
To get our films out there, we need to have this kind of appeal. What can you tell our audiences about that? The appeal, the universal appeal.
Well, any work of art or any work, human beings are the same all over the world. Everybody wants the same things, happiness.
And there
so,
are 12 jury members.
If your work of whether it's cinema or literature, whatever, if it goes out and cuts across, the cultural barriers or whatever, it will only reach people. Just because you made a film and it's doing well in India doesn't mean that it will do. Why would others be interested in your film?
Okay.
So it has to have certain things cinematically and aesthetically and spiritually. Then only it will reach out to a wider people. It will have the subtlety and ability to cut across the barriers.
Sir, and also we have these young creative minds of India, which is part of the section here. How can these young filmmakers be attracted to non-feature film category?
That they have to decide on their own. But because they go by the social trend, everybody is trying to become famous and all that. But you see, unless and until you have a rigor, discipline, hard work, the same old stories, there's nothing new. The filmmaker has to develop himself or herself intellectually, aesthetically, spiritually, emotionally. Then only they'll be able to do those works. Just because you put on you can do films with the phone and edit it at home doesn't mean you can tell your friends and that I made a film. That means nothing. It means nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sir, thank you so much for your time and for all your work that you've put into this 54th. We have with us Dr. T.S. Nagabarna, who headed the jury at the feature film section of the Indian Panorama here at the 54th IFFI. Welcome, sir, to Goa. Sir, you spoke of saying that Indian Panorama is the essence of Indian cinema. Could you explain that to our listeners?
Sure. Actually, we are so much rich in our languages, rich in our culture, and each and every state has got its own identity. And invariably, when once we come together for a film, and that too when we are showcasing a Indian approach of cinema, it is not just Mumbai, it is other than Mumbai. So that's where, whether it is Calcutta, whether it is Bengaluru, whether it is Hyderabad, whether it is Madras, so the whole thing is a comprehensive Indian culture. I think in that way, unity in diversity comes only when once we showcase these languages. And I was so proud because the rest of our jury member, all of them were different language, different walks of life, but they are filmmakers. And we came together to select only 25 out of 378 films. Can you believe that? So this kind of approach and the dedication of the team, and then arriving at a decision, it is very difficult. But we came together because of our only one ideology, that is, this is Indian cinema, the great Indian cinema. And we did it.
Thank you, sir. Also, sir, 90% of the films in the Indian Panorama are women-oriented with women directors. How is that, going to help send a message to young women directors and people who want to be into this field?
I think it will send a very big message. The first thing is they can do it. And the second thing is they have done it. This is what it proves. And earlier also we have seen so many filmmakers because a lot of women film directors and producers I have seen from the last my 50 years of my journey in cinema. But this time it is like all the youngsters, some of them are putting their own thought, and that too in even a male director is there. He was centering the characters and the story on a women centered one. That was the plus point. And great actors like Mammootty and others are contributing to the same kind of approach. That was super. So this year I think we must say that Bharatiya Nari Shakti is shown on the screen.
Thank you so much for talking to us, sir, and thank you for all your time here that you've put at the 54th IFFI. Thank you so much.
The highlight of the evening was the arrival of the king of Bollywood, Salman Khan, who walked the red carpet to a warm welcome by his fans. Day one at the 54th International Film Festival of India here in Goa, and with so many movies that are up for grabs, it was quite a bit of an exciting and enthralling first day of movies. But with so many days, almost 8 days of movies that we are looking forward to, the best person to find out about what to watch and what's coming up, the best movies and the hidden gems, is none other than my friend and filmy buff, Sachin Chatte, who's with me here. Sachin, always a pleasure to be
Same here.
To have you share, the movies that you've seen, in a nutshell, what's coming up and hidden gems. So maybe you could tell us what you watched today.
Well, today it was an early morning 9 a.m. start with a film called Yannick, which is made by a French filmmaker who has interestingly made 2 films in 1 year. He's made another film called Dali, which is about Salvador Dali, the painter, the surrealist painter. Unfortunately, we don't have that film at IFFI, but we have his other film called Yannick, which is a nice, crisp 70-minute film where a man goes to watch a play in a theatre and halfway he gets bored and he says, what are you all doing? This is a very boring play. And, it's a very interesting take from there on. Now imagine a film just set in one room in that sense. There are a couple of shots outside. But it was very interesting and very crisp, just 70-75 odd minutes. So that kind of, made everybody's day. I think everybody enjoyed it.
So did you skip your coffee in the morning for that?
Yes, I did actually. But I was waiting for it to get over so that you could come in time, to have coffee and then...
So the movie didn't put you to sleep?
Definitely not. Because these movies, good thing, in fact, both the movies I saw today were under 100 minutes, which I think is the ideal length. As Hitchcock once famously said, that the duration of a film should be directly proportional to the endurance of the bladder. So, in that sense, many of these films, they kind of tick the boxes.
Right.
The other film today was a film called Room 999, which is a documentary and an interesting documentary for those who love cinema. So, there was a film called Room 666, which was made by Wim Wenders, who is a legendary German filmmaker. He was 36, 37 years old then. And he made a documentary at the Cannes Film Festival where he got 15, 16 filmmakers in a room, same camera frame, and he spoke to them about future of cinema. So there was Jean-Luc Godard there was Steven Spielberg there was Oreena Vaz Fassbinder there, many of these legendary filmmakers, and he spoke about the future of cinema, whether it will exist, how long it will exist, and so on. This was in 1982. Now there's a lady who's kind of used the same formula and made a film called, instead of 666, it's called Room 999. And instead of 16, now they've got 30 filmmakers who just give their views about cinema. Like it starts with Wim Wenders because he made the first documentary. So she got him now to talk about what he feels about the future of cinema. So it's just one static camera and they're left in the room. It's not somebody asking question answers like us. So the camera is put on and that person is left in the room and he has to say whatever he has to say to the camera. So a lot of interesting insights because, nowadays a lot of people watch OTT at home. So whether OTT is going to kill cinema, a lot of people prefer not to go to the theaters, whether that will have an impact. So all these interesting views of different people and some very, very interesting views. You realize how smart these filmmakers are from the films that they make. For example, there is this filmmaker called Ruben Östlund who's made 2 back-to-back films and both won the Palme d'Or. That's the top prize at Cannes. And his films are a social commentary. So here also he says it's something very interesting that we have to be careful about our own taste. We all know about how algorithms run social media now, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or even, the OTT platforms. So he's saying we have to be careful about our own taste because they are feeding you. Doesn't mean it is nice or interesting.
Nice. Yes.
So very thought-provoking and very fascinating.
Fantastic. So let's go into the future, like you said. If we talk about tomorrow, what any movies that
tomorrow, one of the big movies of the festival, it's called Anatomy of a Fall, which also won a prize at the Cannes Film Festival. One of the films I've already seen. And if you're at the festival, I would say that's one of the picks of the festival. There are 5 or 6 big films here. Unfortunately, there are many more films in the circuit which are not at IFFI this time for some strange reason. But otherwise, there are some big films like About Dry Grasses, which is by a very well-known Turkish filmmaker. And I'm super excited because I've heard that he'll be coming to Goa. And it'll be like meeting a living legend. And when I see him, I'll believe it that he's actually coming to Goa. So till then, we'll keep our fingers crossed. But tomorrow, as I said, Anatomy of a Fall is one of those big films. Again, great writing, great acting, great direction. It's a very simple story. A man falls to death and then, was it a murder? Was it a suicide? It looks like something very innocuous, maybe he just fell off. But then how the story goes, it turns into a courtroom drama and, his wife is accused and so on. I won't give you any pointers, but absolutely fabulous film. Unfortunately, there are, as I said, a few big ticket films are missing, but there are a few second tier films. There's a film called Snow Leopard, which I heard is interesting. So that might be something to look forward to. But the number of films that used to be there earlier to look forward to in a day, that number has dwindled slightly. So every day there are probably about 2-3 films to really look out for. There's a Brazilian filmmaker who's here called Moko. That also looks interesting.
All right. Fantastic. All right. I think we'll leave it at that. We're going to have Sachin every day giving us the best of what's coming up for the next day, right here on this very special, should we say, capsule on DD Goa. From gripping dramas to thought-provoking documentaries, IFFI 2023 is all set to captivate cinephiles and industry professionals alike. The next 8 days will see Goa colored in the grandeur of Asia's largest film festival, and we at DD Goa will bring all the action to your screens, big or small.